Hi there, Chau. So, I see we've got some essays from you. Well done. Let's get right into this, see what you had to say. Communication between family members. Okay, then. Recent decades have witnessed an alarming breakdown in family communication. I completely agree with this viewpoint and will explore examples of increased social media usage and lifestyle-related stresses to illustrate the point and support arguments. Okay? Family members, careful with your typing here, please. Family members nowadays communicate, again, typing, less to one another because the majority of their time is spent cultivating social relations outside the family circle. This has been largely a result of communication advances which facilitate an addictively easy access to instant and constant connections. I don't really care for it facilitates easy access, not an easy access. Indeed, recent studies have identified an unprecedented increase in individual social media engagement, which averages 10 hours per week in many countries. With such an inordinate amount of time dedicated to virtual relationships and the widespread availability of communication tools such as Facebook and Instagram, it is no surprise that there is increasingly less time to be with loved ones. All right, that's lovely. The language is very natural. It flows very easily. So I actually enjoyed this quite a bit. And good vocabulary. Nice collocations, things like inordinate amount of time, widespread ability, so that was good. Another reason for the diminished focus on family communication is increased social pressures from a professional, educational, and financial perspective. This is mainly due to increased competition that characterizes many of today's, here you wanted an apostrophe S, achievement-oriented societies. For example, it is not uncommon for students to undertake extracurricular classes or for employees to work overtime to secure their academic and employment status. I don't know what you meant by here, academic. I'm not really sure what that means. Such commitment to work and study load, there's something missing here. Such commitment to the work and study load has no doubt led to insufficient time for effective communication or any communication at all between family members. In conclusion, communication between family members has certainly lessened. This social phenomenon will perhaps not only persist but also project far into the future unless awareness about familial value are raised. Okay, this is lovely. You can see that I had to correct almost nothing in terms of grammar and in terms of vocabulary. It flowed very nicely. Your cohesion was really well done. It was unobtrusive. So you used things like this. You used things like such commitment, which is like a rephrasing. So that was an excellent job. The only thing that I would address with you, okay, and this is just something to think about. Do you agree or disagree? To what extent do you agree? Okay, it sounded like you completely agree, and you said that really clearly. I am wondering if there is any way you could have considered the alternative. What do I mean by that? I mean that perhaps all of these new applications and all of this new social media, perhaps this actually facilitates family communication. Okay, now why do I say that? I say that because at the higher levels of IELTS, it's really important to be able to look at the task more spherically. And perhaps address all sides of the issue, even if you are completely convinced that only one of them holds truth and holds value. All right, so you could have thought about that, and there are a lot of ways to do this. Basically, it's the philosophy where you say, yeah, I understand that things like Facebook and Messenger and Viber and WhatsApp and they all allow people in different areas to communicate, especially or even family members. On the whole, all of these other things that I'm about to mention to you, all these other restrictions and responsibilities and so forth, have actually lessened kind of valuable family time. Or you could say that, yeah, we have ways to kind of connect with each other, but it's a very superficial, it's a very maybe like text heavy or media heavy way, and it's not substantial communication that has any real value. So, and I'm saying this to you because, not that what you did is wrong, but because I can tell from the language that you use that you are aiming for a higher score. This is really something to consider. Even in an essay like this where they ask you to what extent do you agree, it's a good idea to pursue and to look into the opposite side. Like, well, maybe there is some value to this, and maybe communication isn't less. Maybe we have more ways to communicate. Okay, it's something to think about as you move forward. In the meantime, let's look at your second essay, enjoying enjoyable activity with a child, better skills than reading. Okay. Learning through enjoyable activities has increasingly gained popularity as an effective alternative to textbook reading. I cannot agree more with this view, and will refer to examples of both academic and non-academic skill sets, maybe dash here, achievable with activity-based learning to illustrate and support my argument. While the value of reading to learning is well established, an enjoyable activity can be equally, if not more, educational. This is mainly because there are many skills that cannot be acquired through textbooks alone and require additional exposure, which a fun-filled learning activity can readily provide. In fact, it has been shown by a study from Harvard University that engagement in video gaming 2 hours every day improves students' reflexes, spatial awareness, and memory. Therefore, learning through recreational activities clearly has a unique pedagogical advantage that reading cannot measure up to or do without. Lovely. Very nice. Apart from the traditional academic skills, enjoyable activities also provide context for the acquisition of other important developmental attributes. Sports, for example, has a definite role in the development of problem-solving, leadership, and teamwork. Educational reforms, which involve extensive inclusion of sports in school curriculum, have elicited success in addressing students' deficits in these soft skills areas, as evident by students' marked improvement in psychosocial and emotional intelligence tests. Thus, activity-based teaching offers a viable alternative to remedy the gap in life skill competency exacerbated by a heavily textbook learning approach. A heavily textbook learning. Okay, fine. I was curious if maybe we wanted the adjective here instead of the adverb, but I can see why you used it, so that's fine. Maybe you wanted a dash here between these two words. In conclusion, activity-based learning is superior to reading in several aspects of skill achievement. Recognition of this issue will hopefully result in positive change to the pedagogical methodologies of current educational systems. Lovely. Okay, so you could see that your writing flows really, really nicely, and that's evident by the fact that I kind of speed read through it, which for me shows that the grammar and everything is natural, and I can go through it really easily. Excuse me. I already told you that I like the way you've structured your essay. I like the coherence and the cohesion aspect of it. I think if there's one thing I had to point out as an area for improvement, it would probably be the development of this. I wanted to hear a little bit more about the role sports played, about this problem-solving, leadership, and teamwork. I think you could have said more. Now, why do I say that? You counted your word count at 259, which means that it's just above the minimum, which is fine. I mean, it's acceptable, but I do think that you could have added just a little more in order to develop it a little further. I'm also curious to know how long these essays took you to write. Were each of them under the 40-minute were they each under the 40 minutes that you need to spend on them? So that's another question. But I am happy with them. I want you just to think about some of the things that I've mentioned. Now, I hope I get to see more essays from you. I'm not sure what kind of a course here that you've signed up to, but I hope that we can continue working together so that with the feedback provided, you can continue to improve. So I want to wish you lots of luck and keep on writing.